my name is Eugene and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of SwingMac, the theory of consistency. Now in this small segment I will be addressing ball position. Before I start off, I need to explain to you that there's certain pivot points within the swing arc, and also at the pivot point, the lowest point of the arc. If I was to swing below the plane, that's a swing plane, and I swing below the plane, I'm going to change my pivot point. My pivot point will not be where it was at address. In the same way, if I swing very much above the plane, that is to swing from an outside to an inside position, my pivot point will also change. It's not going to be the same as what it was at address. So I'm going to be doing a small experiment, but you need to understand that that experiment is done with the swing plane in mind, where it is equal. You're not below the plane and high on the follow through. You're also not high above on the outside and very low on the follow through. It's important to know that it's done in a neutral swing plane. Neutral swing plane, I'm on plane, the same plane back and through. Now from that point of view, I'm going to be doing the small experiment regarding ball position. Ball position, a lot of times people explain to you ball position is determined that it needs to be center or front of center. No two people have the same ball position. No two people has a pivot point within their swing arc which is exactly the same. So if I use this club cover as a good example, and that's a consistent pivot point. Now from that consistent pivot point, I will be doing that experiment. You'll see that one is just behind the pivot point and that one is in front of the pivot point. So if I start off with a neutral pivot point, and I were to swing back and through, you can see the ball started on line with a yellow flag. Now once again, I maintain the pivot point, but I now place the ball position ahead of the pivot point. If I swing back and through, the ball starts left of target. And in the same manner, I keep the pivot point, but I now place the ball position behind the pivot point. If I now swing back and through, you can see the ball starts right of target. So ball position has got a lot to do with your swing plane and finding where is the neutral pivot point within your swing plane. You first have to figure that out before you can determine what is a good ball position within that neutral pivot point within my swing plane. If you've got any more questions, or if there are certain things that you don't understand, please feel free to log your questions onto the website, and I will contact you and get back to you on your questions.